Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Public Works Committee meeting, Wednesday, April the 30th, the year 2025, City of Charlottetown Council Chambers, 12:05. Order of business called to order. Declarations of conflicts of interest. Approval of agenda. Moved? Second, okay. All in favor? Adoption of the minutes. Moved? Okay. Any business arising from the previous minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I know I did bring up at the last meeting on April 15th about the general cleanup. I think it started right, and I think it's going well. We just have to keep it going because there's a lot of litter out there. The other thing too, I believe I mentioned this to Riley, that the signals, the walk-in signals, the pedestrian signals on Grafton Street East and Water Street Parkway are still not operational, so pedestrians are in danger in their crossing there down by Joe Giz Park. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So I think Birch Hill, the contractor, they were to come in and do some upgrades. So I just want to put that on the radar. You don't have to answer it now.
But did you have an opportunity to send that information off to Public Works?
No, I brought it up here.
No, I know, but after you brought it up here, did you send it previously to the management of Public Works?
I followed up with Riley. Him and I spoke because he understood the situation. So that's where we're at. If you want me to, I can follow up an email on both issues. But
I think it would be advantageous. Did you want to anything you'd like to offer, Riley, or did you want to wait for to examine those emails?
Thank you, Chair. I can make a quick comment. We were aware of the situation as well, and as His Worship mentioned, we've been working with the contractor to fix the problems, and it's still under warranty, of course. It was part of the Eastern Gateway project, so yeah, we're aware of what is happening, and we're working on having it fixed, so all good there.
Thank you, Riley.
I just want to keep it there in the open.
Well,
thank you, sir.
As our acting manager said, they're certainly aware, and they're working through that deficiency.
Thank you.
Okay, so having said that, we have agenda items and reports. Our first item is the four new 3500 series crew cabs and Class E work trucks. Riley?
Thank you, Chair. I can take this one.
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't mind. Yeah. So yeah, we the Public Works Department went out for tender for 4 new 3500 series crew cab work trucks. As you can see in the report, we got 2 submissions, and we recommend the award to the low bidder of Summerside Chrysler Dodge. They met all specifications and were the lowest quoted bid. We do have room in the budget for this under small fleet. And yeah, if there's any other questions, I can do my best to answer them.
Floor is open.
So, Mr. Chair, through the chair to Albert. Albert, that's under our capital. That's under the fleet management, correct?
Yes, the chair, through to your worship, that is correct.
And this is for the 13 that were just ordered. Did Public Works receive some of those 13 vehicles?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I'm just looking under here. Public Works is at $1,665,000 for the capital budget, correct?
That is correct, under small fleet.
Yeah. So just as a follow-up, can we just get an email back on where we're at with the purchases that are already made and what we'll be doing today?
So I think you're
Yeah, so just to follow up, in the report under there, it does say the original budget was 1.665 million. The half-ton purchases committed from the small fleet So that we subtract 645, and then so we still have about $1 million and 20,000, 1,019,000. So for this purchase, we will need about 339 after everything. So we are still within room there, and we will still have some budget left over. I can follow up in an email
Yeah.
as well.
No, the reason I bring it up, Mr. Chair, is, no, I know it's in the report, I know. My reason for the follow-up is that, are we looking at a number of other vehicles to be purchased that will stay within that budget? Because as you know, the tariffs are on one day, the tariffs are off the next day. So again, it's tracking where we're going with it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, I think the report is self-explanatory. Staff is recommending the low tender, Summerside Chrysler Dodge. Seems to keep coming to the forefront. Nonetheless, do I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Move it. Second. All in favor? Motion carried. Next item. Supply. Item B, supply hot mix asphalt, tack and coal mix. Who's taking this one? Albert?
Thank you, Chair. Again, you'll see a trend in these reports. These are kind of yearly tenders that we go out to for supply of hot mix asphalt that we use for our patching crews throughout the city. Again, pretty self-explanatory. We went out to bid in April 2025. We got submissions, and I believe we only had one submission from Island Construction Limited, as it states in the report. Estimated quantities, staff kind of use a mixture of previous knowledge and expected work for this year to determine these. We do get a unit price for some of these items, and we use that to determine how much we will use for this year. With the extended quantities, the total contract price is listed there, $599,778. Again, we've done this in the past. We've worked with this company in the past, and we do recommend that this this go forward to council.
Do I have a mover? Move. Do I have a seconder? Second. All in favor of the motion?
No, the motion's on the floor. Can I just
Pardon me?
speak to the motion?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is a point that you made last night, Councillor Tweel, about the hot mix and how we took from the budget. So again, it's in the report like everything else. The report is made to the public. But here at the public meeting, we have street resurfacing and repair, in-house asphalt, coal mix. We budget $525,000. So we have a tender here of about $600,000. Are these the same items? And just to get back to Councillor Tweel's point, did we lose money in our budget process?
No, I'll be a little more specific. What I looked at was a recommendation that was discussed at the previous Public Works Committee, and staff were looking at adding, correct me if I'm wrong, staff were looking at adding another patching crew because of the tremendous amount of work that's required to do work here in our city streets, and plus the deficiencies that they need to follow up on with water and sewer. So we could have a patching crew totally dedicated to dealing with the deficiencies from the water and sewer department, because that's a very busy department. And, you know, with all the traffic on our streets, the city's growing, more subdivisions, more development. If you look at some of the main entryways into the city, our streets are really taking a beating. And I talked to the Public Works manager prior to the meeting, and we're going to have a session in-house and then bring a report to the committee. And that report will consist of our inventory of what's truly required to do the necessary work from an operational perspective, whether it be adding another patching crew, and even looking at our spreader and the good work that that crew does, and making sure they have all the amenities and all the resources to go out and do the job that they need to do, besides the pulverization and paving of our city streets. So it's both from a capital and from an operational perspective.
So can I just get a response on page 83 of our operational budget? Are these the same, can I ask the manager through the chair? Albert, are these the same items? 525,000 is in the budget, but for the tender, it's 599. Apples and apples or apples and oranges?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that. I'll start and then ask Riley to add if there's anything that I may be missing. But that is correct. That is the budgeted line item that this is coming from. It is in the operational budget. Again, we are basing this award on estimated quantities and unit prices. So even though we have $525,000 in the operational budget for this, these quantities are estimated. We do review how much material we are using throughout the year, usually on a monthly basis, to make sure that we're on track and not exceeding this. Obviously, as done in the past, if we look like we are starting to go over the $525,000, we will come back to council and request more money if that is something that council would like to do. Again, these things similar to other tender items, depending on the season. If the season grows later and we see that there is a need and we would like to add more funding to do patching, we can do that. But right now, this award will be based on unit pricing.
Okay.
Riley, if there's anything I missed there that you would like to add, please feel free.
So, second question, Mr. Chair. So just again, I didn't see the minutes, what you just said there about talking about what we discussed at the April 15th meeting. They're not in the minutes. But what I do want to say is that if we have to go above 525,000, just like we did for the capital budget from 3.4 million to 5.1 million for asphalting or paving the streets, we'll be doing that. So I'm supporting whether it's 525 or it's 599. We have to get the work done. Thank you, sir.
Well, don't want to prolong the discussion, but that's the point I was trying to make last night, right? You know, as opposed to money going to outside agencies and they're all worthy causes, don't get me wrong, and they do great work for the community. But I think we got to start looking internally and providing the resources for our staff, whether it be from a capital or operational. So anyway, all in favor of the motion? Motion carried. Thank you. Item C. Back here now. Here's right here. Topsoil supply. Who's got that one? Albert?
Yep. Thank you, Chair. Again, another kind of seasonal tender that we put out there. This one is for supply of topsoil. So the Public Works went out for quotations in April with the tender closing April 23rd, 2025. We did receive 6 submissions, and we recommend that the committee through the council support the low submission from D&D Landscaping. They had the lowest unit price for both materials that we were looking to get, and staff recommend the contract be awarded to them.
Thank you. Do I have a mover? Moved. Second. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, item D. Supply of ready-mix concrete and aggregate. I guess you're on again, Albert.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Chair. Again, similar to the other ones for asphalt and topsoil, this is another tender that we award every year. This one is for supply of ready-mix concrete and aggregate for our sidewalk crews that go throughout the city and do patchwork. And this is to supply that concrete material, as well as Class A granular material and other things that we may need. So there were 3 submissions for this tender, and the department recommends that it be awarded to the lowest bidder, CRM Ready Mix, and Yeah, if there's any other questions, I will try my best to answer.
Thank you, Manager. Once again, do I have a mover? Moved by Councilor Tart, second by Councilor McAleer. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, item E, Acadian Drive right-of-way dispersal of school bus drop-off. I'm assuming, Manager, you're going to address that issue as well.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, for this one, I'm going to ask if Riley can speak to it. I am not as familiar with this one, and I know he has a little bit more knowledge, probably a lot more knowledge than I do on this one. So instead of me giving an explanation and then going to him for questions, I will ask him to speak on this.
Riley?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so this report kind of came from a request that came into the department when Paul Johnson was acting manager a few months ago. The province approached us to sort of seek permission to take over a piece of land that they believe to be owned by the city. It's on Acadian Drive in front of École Francois Biot. It's a small kind of bow-shaped sliver of land. To the city's knowledge, based on our GIS mapping and stuff, it didn't appear to be part of the city's right-of-way. Probably one of those kind of just peculiar land issues that may not have been fully reflected in the mapping. All that to say, there was really no knowledge from the city's perspective that this piece of land may have been owned by us, was not being used by the city. It's outside of the road corridor on Acadian Drive. And essentially the request from the province was to, for them to receive that land back for the purpose of them making an upgrade to the school bus drop-off for École Francois Biot. The existing accesses for the parking lot for the school wouldn't change. They're just looking to sort of make an extension on their parking lot, which would encroach into this piece of land. There are some attachments in the report that show the little sliver that is in question. From the Public Works perspective, city perspective, there's no future need identified for this piece of land, and we are supportive of it going to finance for consideration for dispersal, or sort of the city accommodating the request of the province and giving them this land, or having finance discuss with them about a possible purchase or something of that nature. So department's recommendation here is to accommodate the request of the province that this land be sort of transferred back to their ownership, and for the report to go to finance for their consideration for dispersal of the property.
Thank you, Riley. Thank you for that report. Councillor McAleer.
Yeah, thank you, Riley. Just to confirm, I think you said in your description, it's physically, it's just kind of a bow kind of piece of, is it square footage? Is it much of a?
Page 18.
Yeah, we just got, okay, yeah, thank you.
I have a question for you, Mr. Chair. To Riley. Oh,
Just before.
Okay.
Question. Move, second? Second? Go.
okay. So is it this committee's responsibility to determine if we are recommending that the land be gifted back to the province, or are we seeking monetary compensation for that sliver of land? Or is that going to be determined at the finance department?
Thank you, Councillor. I believe that would be outside of Public Works' recommendation and go to finance for their consideration. Perhaps Richard or Sue may be able to correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's my understanding, is that we're just recommending that it go to them for consideration.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So for Public Works to look at it and see if there's any need for it to remain with the city and Public Works, but for the Finance Committee to look at the financial aspect.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor of the motion? Our next item, clarification on use of Canada Communities Building Funding, CCBF, for capital projects. I'm assuming, Yalbear, that's yours as well?
Correct, Chair. Thank you. Yeah, so this is a report that we've been asked to put together. Originally, Finance had brought this resolution to council, and it was requested that it come back through the Public Works Committee so we can speak on some more information on kind of how this sidewalk plan was needed and what happened here. So as you can see in the report, we do have the original information on the CCBF funding and the different types of infrastructure projects that this funding can support. From a public works perspective, the sidewalk list, the sidewalk 5-year plan is something that was originally brought forward in 2022, and a 5-year new sidewalk and construction plan, which is attached, was approved by council. Since then, there's been some alterations and some changes made based on different strategic priorities, development impacts, and infrastructure needs throughout the city that have come up that has caused us to move a few of those lists forward. The latest version that I believe was seen by committee and council, or actually just the Public Works Committee, I think, was on December 13th, 2023. That list is also attached. But overall, the point we're at right now is based on these plans. Earlier in the year, 8 streets, or in the 2024 year, there were 8 streets that were designed, tendered, and awarded as part of that construction year. Those streets are listed there. That work was started last year, and there were 2 streets that were not completed that were carried forward to this year's budget year. Both of these streets come up to about $1 million worth of work. So if we look at this year's capital budget, there's $3,010,000 for new sidewalk construction. So taking into account that we do have $1 million from last year that we've already committed to and awarded the tenders, that brings us down to $2 million. So looking at this year's constructions for new sidewalks, the Public Works Committee and Council has already approved the design work for the streets that are listed in the report: Westcombe Crescent, Parkside Drive, Stockman Drive, Elizabeth Street, Christie Drive, and Alina Court. So this design work is underway. This work's been awarded already. Design work's underway. There is everything being done to hopefully have the tender documents for construction ready to go in the next month or so. But this is where we kind of have worked with finance to seek further funding to be able to construct all of this work. So there's a table in page 23 of your report, which shows 2025 sidewalk and multi-use path construction. And this table shows that we do have, I know it's listed as 3 streets that are carried forward from 2024, but in the tender documents, Montgomery Drive and Birch Hill do connect together, so those were 1 street. So those items 1, 2, and 3 do combine to make that $1 million. So now we only have about $2 million left over for the construction of the streets that are on the 2025 list. Again, this $2 million and the amount that we have estimated through Public Works, we will need another 1.5 million to be able to do all of these streets. And at a previous committee meeting, it was decided based on estimates that without this funding, we will probably not be able to do Westcombe Crescent and Stockman Drive, even though these streets are being designed currently and would be ready for construction. Based on the estimates, we probably would not be able to do these. Again, it is difficult to judge what we will and will not be able to do based on funding. We always do our best to have estimates based on past bids and past construction projects. But until we actually go out to tender and get the documents back, we don't know what they will cost. So there are 6 streets that are being designed that are part of the 5-year plan for this year that we would like to do, and as council sees fit, but we would not be able to do all of these without additional funding. One other thing I'd like to point out is when we do go out for award for these sidewalks and multi-use paved paths, we do put in the bid sheets that the contractor is to bid on each street individually and then show a lump sum. We've decided to do this in the past because not knowing what the budget breakdowns will be when we have these broken out into each individual streets, and we clearly state in the tender that the city may choose to do one or all or a different combination of these. This gives us a little bit of flexibility after we get the bids and see the budget to be able to decide which ones we will do, or to be able to go back to committee and council to request additional funds or budget transfers to be able to do these. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit of the information that maybe was missing before that was requested. If there's anything else that you may need, I'm here for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that in-depth synopsis. I'm fine with that.
Mr. Chair. To the chair, I guess to Albert. We were provided by the former acting manager, Paul Johnson, the sidewalk and multi-use pathway construction project 5-year plan. So in 2025, there was a number of areas that were slated for sidewalk construction, of which we identified here this afternoon. However, 2 of them are not proceeding forward, Lincolnwood Drive and David's Lane. So is the assumption that those move down into 2026? Or does that mean they're off the list completely?
Okay, thank you, Councillor. I did see, I was part of that email chain, and looking back into this, I have noticed that maybe there was a few different spreadsheets and different lists that were passed on through the past based on the first one in 2022 up until now. So Lincolnwood and Gates Drive did not go out to tender for engineering services for design this year. So those were originally on the 2025 list, but were moved down. I don't believe that they are both in the 2026 list, but they are still on the 5-year plan. Again, I can't speak fully to the reasoning before of which year they were decided to go to. My hope is that in the future, we before the end of the year, before budget season, that we do revisit this list, update some criteria as the acting manager had mentioned of what constitutes putting these items in which year. Again, it is a 5-year plan that changes based on new development, based on other projects that may or may not go forward. We don't want to put new sidewalk in the streets that we're planning to do reconstruction on fully, for example, anywhere in Eastern Gateway or Pond Street in the past, Exhibition Drive, other areas like that. So it is a list that we do look at every year and move things around. My hope and the plan is that we will in the future go back to committee and recommend where these streets will go, and give council a better understanding of where we're at before we go forward with that. So to sum it up, they have been moved from the 2025 list. They are not in the 2026 one, but right now I would not say that the 2026 one is locked in stone. These streets, 2026 to 2028, are the ones that we see based on the past will need work, but we will have to revisit this list and maybe extend it and give a better update later on in the year.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you, I'll move it.
Yeah, I'm second. Okay,
I just had a question.
I have a question too.
Had this confirmed at the last meeting, was that maybe it was Public Works or not, but just for the 2026 list sidewalk, it was confirmed when I asked this question last that Royalty Road is on the 2026 list, and Albert or Riley just want to confirm that that's still the case in spite of, I guess, that 26 list may be yet revised, but does it, my question is Royalty Road still on the 2026 list as it presently sits? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, on page 28 of the report, you can see where the list currently is at, and Royalty Road is there on for year 3, 2026.
Yep. Thank you, and I saw that again, but just wanted to, and just in light of your recent comments, I just thought perhaps that it still might be not what I'm hearing you say, possibly, though, that the 26 may not be cast in stone. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And again, we will, depending on at this point with committee's support. Again, this report was for information only. I believe, and maybe Richard can clarify. Based on what happens here today, this will go back through to finance and then back to council for the official word on if council decides to. Increase the budget for $1.5 million to be able to do the 2025 list. Because if not, then we will have a few streets on that list that will get bumped down. And because those streets would have already be designed, it would more than likely be the recommendation of staff that these get done in 2026 since we already have the design work done. But it will have to be revisited based on every other list. But right now, Royalty Road is in the 2026 list, and yeah.
Mr. Chair, just a point of order. I thought at our meeting in April, we deferred this issue. Did this not come to the floor? I thought this was deferred to increase the budget. Was it not, Richard? So that's why I thought just when he was asking, the chair was asking, again, on a point of order, asking, are you moving and seconding the resolution? I thought we were moving and second. I didn't see it in the report, so Albert, you've given a lot of information, so I was just going to go back and ask you, where is the recommendation that we just moved and seconded? But I guess it's going back to finance. Like, guys, this is taking a lot of time just to, Mr. Chair, I just want to end on that. So, point of order is, this, what you're recommended is that this goes back to finance and then back to council through the chair to Albert? I was just.
Well, I'm of the mindset that I think a lot of times we're caught up in too much red tape. If the money's in the budget, then it should go automatically from Public Works to council. If we're asking for additional money and hasn't been budgeted for, then you would go to finance.
Well, we are asking for additional money. We're asking for an additional 1.5 million, right?
Mr. McEwen.
Yep, thank you. So this did go to council and was deferred. So we're trying to provide more information to members of this committee so that you can support it as it moves through finance. But also the manager noted that we don't know the actual costs yet. So council could in advance say, should pricing come back, you have that extra 1.5, or we can get actual tender results and come to council with that information at that time. But based on staff's estimates, they felt that if the council wanted to try and achieve everything that had been in the 2025 plan, it was recommended that they seek prior approval of an increase of 1.5 million, but that was deferred at council. So here at Public Works, trying to inform the committee of the history and information so that you can support a recommendation as it finds its way back to council because it was deferred.
So, Mr. Chair, could I ask, so there's no recommendation from Albert? Just for information purposes. Yeah, so Albert, can I just ask about your report? Like you refer, and I know this is not in your wheelhouse, but when we look at the funding coming from the Canada Communities Building Fund, it appears that they're always paying the freight here. So I think, if we have to increase the capital budget to complete the 2025 construction season, or the 2024 in the 2025 season, I think we have to get this moving, because in this industry, the longer we wait, the vendors will get more and more contracts, and that moves us out into a better pricing, Mr. Chair. So the more we kick this can down the road or down the sidewalk, the longer it gets more difficult to get better pricing. So let's get it back to finance as soon as possible, and then back to council as a whole with a recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just on that clarity, can it go right back to council?
No.
So thank you. It was deferred at council, so it would go back to council.
But it has to go through this committee and then finance, correct?
So we'll provide more information to each of those committees to help the decision-making process at council.
And that's provided we're asking for more money, correct?
Correct, yes. So I mean, it is a request to increase the capital budget, but the design work is underway for that. So I mean, things are still progressing.
Okay, and keep in mind, this 5-year plan, as the manager talked about, there's alterations to the plan. The plan really is a guide. Nothing more, nothing less. So there's always going to be additions, there's going to be deletions, there's going to be adding and subtracting. It's just a guide. Okay, having said that, you'll note that there's a draft civic board for persons with disabilities. The meeting notes are in your package. Is there any questions? No. We do have one item under new business.
Yes?
I'm going to have to bring that up as well.
And Mr. Chair, I just wanted to give a couple of notices for under new business, but you go with your item.
Okay. Backhoe and truck hire for culvert services. Who's handling this one?
That would be me,
Okay.
Chair. Thank you. So again, another one similar to the topsoil, asphalt and concrete bids. This is another tender that goes out yearly to get bids for hourly backhoe services for culverts. So there was a tender gone out that closed on April 23rd. There were 5 submissions, and the Public Works and staff recommend the lowest submission from Lee McDonald Construction for this RFQ. If there's any questions, I can answer.
Do I have a mover? Move. Do I have a seconder?
Where is it? I'm looking at, I know. Oh, it's in the other folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All
in favor?
in favor? Motion carried. Move for,
No, new business, just a couple of issues. Just want to, again, this is for Albert and the assistant manager. We get a lot of work done on our vehicles in-house, but I know we do go outside our own mechanical services. I'm just wondering have we done that as a standing order? Again, we don't have to get an answer, just follow up, or do we do a tender on it? And I know I want to follow up on Albert's email with the street resurfacing for 2025. I've asked, and I'm going to ask again, that Havenwood Street be considered because it hasn't been paved for the last 21 years, and it's a very rough street, so just want to put that on the shelf. It is worse. It's bad that they should drive out by West Worley School. Thank you, sir.